everybody, and welcome in to episode 9 of the Super Bowl podcast here from the GCU Recording Labs. So glad you guys could join us. Alongside me, David Arnold, Harper Hauk, as always, and we have our fourth guest, our first female guest of the show. Harper, without further ado, can you please introduce Krista Rowan?
Sure, Dorman. Yes, we have a very special guest with us today. Krista is an accomplished beach volleyball player here at GCU. Not only is she a great volleyball player, she's heavily involved in the community. She has a strong impact in FCA, SAC, and the athletics marketing team. But most importantly, she stands out in her faith. She intertwines it in all her positions and platforms. Welcome in, Krista.
Thank you, guys. I'm super happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
Gotta give a round of applause.
Let's do it. Yeah, first female guest. It was about dang time. Didn't know.
Sound a little southern there, Dorman.
About dang time, man. Just about dang time. So thank you again for coming on. This is going to be an awesome episode, and hopefully we can get more of a female audience onto the show because, this is an all-inclusive podcast here. So we're going to start off with the sports segment as we always do, and it's fitting that we're going to go March Madness here. We are 2 rounds down. It's been madness like it always has been, right?
Yep.
And maybe even crazier than it has been in past years. But 16 teams remain, and we're going to try to go a little bit of rapid fire here, but we're going to try to pick our super bold, final 16 all the way down to 1 right here. So we're going to make all of our picks. Hopefully there's no 2-on-2. Then we're going to have to fight about it a little bit. But
Krista's the tiebreaker.
Yep.
Let's start it off in the South region, though. Alabama, San Diego State. Krista, you want to start?
I got Bama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right.
Yeah, I got Bama too. I don't think there's much of an argument here.
Well, I'm going to make it a little fun.
Are you actually?
San Diego State is my pick here.
Okay.
I just feel an upset brewing, so this is my spot. I figured you guys were going to go Bama.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be on record calling it if it were to happen. So, San Diego State.
You always do that. You always do that.
Yep.
You're like,
You like that.
just in case it happens.
Just in
I
case.
said it.
Hey, man, it's true.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with Alabama as well. I actually thought San Diego State was going to lose round 1. So,
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
respect. They did pretty well. Like, who were they up against? Charleston?
Yeah.
Charleston
Yeah.
and who was the other team?
Then they
the
beat
mid-major team.
Yeah, they played Charleston, then Furman.
Yeah.
So,
That
Now they're
is
playing
true.
Alabama.
Not
That
a
is
very
true.
tough,
now they're playing
That is
Alabama.
tough road here.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going Alabama there.
Yeah.
The next one is Creighton versus Princeton. Crazy 15 seed Princeton all the way in the Sweet 16. 3 years in a row that a 15 seed has been in the Sweet 16. Princeton keeps it going after a win over Arizona. What you got?
Going Princeton. Think they're going to keep it
Oh,
rolling.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like it. I like
Okay,
it.
Krista.
Yep.
Okay, so just so you know, double-digit seeds as double-digit underdogs in the Sweet 16 are 1-16.
Oh.
Wow. Look
That
at
is a great
Interesting
stat.
stat.
So
Ooh.
the odds are against you here, Krista.
I don't know.
I'm going Creighton, but I don't think this is an easy win.
Yeah.
I like that.
I agree. I'm going Creighton. I actually have Creighton in my Final Four in my actual bracket.
Oh.
So
You got to let it
Really?
ride then.
let's ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays, maybe Blue Hawks. I don't even know their mascot name, but shout out to Creighton. Love that school.
Love that school. Okay.
Hey, do you know where Creighton is?
It's Nebraska, right?
New Jersey.
Nebraska.
Oh,
It's
boy.
Nebraska.
You got the N. That's
And
okay.
you
We'll have to, we'll have, we'll have
You
to
said
cut
you
that
left
one
the
out.
school, you don't
we'll have
even
to
know
cut
where
that
it
one out. Look, man, I just think they're due for a run here. So
Sure.
that's all I got.
I'm going to go Creighton as well. I love the 15 seeds all the way up until the Sweet 16. And I just don't like it after that. But I'm rooting for Princeton. So go Princeton.
Yeah, I like Princeton.
All right, next one. This one's
You're
this
looking
one could
straight
get a
at
little
me.
crazy. Florida Atlantic versus Tennessee. We've got a big old Tennessee fan here in this corner.
No,
I'll
I
start
don't.
this one off. I'm going with FAU. I think Florida Atlantic actually wins this one.
Ouch.
31-3 coming into the tournament.
Yeah, they are a really good.
They've
team.
looked really good. They haven't played an SEC school yet here in this tournament. It's going to be the hardest game of the tournament for them, and they got to play FDU, a 16 seed in round 1. But I do think that they know how to win, and they're
That's
going to
good.
get it done.
I am going Tennessee.
Nice.
I don't know. I think FAU's running out of gas. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's going to last.
yeah.
Respect.
Proud of you for that pick.
Thank you.
So obviously I'm going the Vols here. So we pride ourselves on our physical defense and our offensive rebounding. And typically, if our shooting shows up, we win games. I think we can beat anyone if our offense is firing on all cylinders. So if the shooting can come through, I think we're going to win this game comfortably.
Wow.
All right. All down to me.
I like that
here.
it's a we.
Yeah.
We.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
We,
he
the
said
Tennessee
our, like,
Volunteers.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
orange.
Very involved.
Yeah. Well, Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me, and that's not changing. Tennessee is going to do it here. And shout out to everybody back home. We love you.
That's right.
We're pulling for you. We're all pulling for you, apparently, in the words of Harper. So I'm one of those we're. So let's ride.
Okay. All right, so Tennessee moves on.
Tennessee.
No upsets so far. Next, Kansas State, Michigan State. How about you start us off, David?
Michigan State. It's Tom Izzo's month. So
Yeah.
that's all I need to say here. I just think the record proves itself. Like Michigan State, like a lot of their players, I think they just find a way here.
I have another interesting stat here. So the Spartans were the 6th best three-point shooting team in the country the regular season, and they've only made 7 out of their 30 attempts in the tournament.
Yeah.
So if they somehow find a way
Yeah.
to get more three-pointers, then I think they have the highest
Who's
ceiling.
stopping them?
Yeah, they have a high ceiling.
I like that.
Does that mean you're going with Michigan State?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't make that clear. Sorry.
I'm also going with Michigan State. I
Let's
feel
go.
like, I don't know, they always seem to have a good tournament run. I think it was not last year, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know. It seemed like they had a really big run. I just remember them from that, and I think they're going to do it again.
I like it.
This is scaring me a little bit because I'm definitely going Michigan State as well.
Sparty.
This
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like the Fox crew before an NFL game where they pick
Yeah,
everybody picks
everybody's-
the same team and then they lose
Yeah.
like every time. But I had Michigan State in my Elite Eight before the tournament started, and this is it. This is their chance to get to that Elite Eight. That'd be big for my bracket and big for the Spartans. January, February, Izzo continues. Give me Michigan State.
Boom.
Okay.
All right, next Houston, Miami. I'll start. This one's close, man. This one's very close. Houston has squeaked out a couple wins. They weren't
Yep.
looking very good in the first half. And you know what? I was going to go Houston, but I'm actually going Miami. Miami went on a big run last year. When it comes to tournament time, they figure it out. Isaiah Wong leads them at point guard,
Yep.
ACC Player of the Year.
Yep.
He's raw. I'm actually going to go Miami here.
Yeah. This is a tough one for me, too. I'm on the fence. And the crazy thing is that Houston is my champion in my actual bracket. I just haven't been super impressed with Houston. I think Miami, I'm looking for the teams in the Sweet 16 that are kind of flying under the radar. And Miami is certainly one of those teams. But not to contradict myself, I am going to pick Houston, but it's going to be a great game.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, to go off what you guys are saying, they've looked pretty flat the first 2 rounds. And I think Miami has looked really good. So I'm taking the Canes here. They're
on.
Hurricanes, right?
The U.
Yep.
Hurricanes.
However you want to say it, man. However you want to say
I
it.
actually think this is going to be the best game in the Sweet 16.
Wow.
All right.
I'm going with Houston in overtime. I think
Oh.
it's gonna be.
Oh.
I think it's gonna be a
Yeah,
good game, but
yeah.
Houston's winning in overtime.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great game.
You're the
I think we're all on board
tiebreaker,
with that.
Yep.
all right?
Yep.
So
All
Houston.
right, Krista's
Oh.
our tiebreaker, so
Houston
we're
it
going
is.
with Houston, I guess.
Houston,
Yep.
we have no problem. Let's keep
Yes.
moving.
All right. Next one, Xavier. Or Xavier. How do you say it? Xavier or Xavier?
See,
Xavier.
Xavier.
I-
Yeah.
apparently
would
it's
say
Xavier. Apparently.
Don't ask
Okay.
me.
Well,
Word on the street.
luckily, we're not going to have to say it next round because they're going to lose to Texas. They're going to lose
Wow.
to Texas in the Sweet 16. That's my pick. I don't need to say anything else.
Not so fast.
Oh, boy.
Xavier. How about the teams going under the radar? I like Xavier here. I think Texas is a lot of people's, in a lot of people's Finals Fours, maybe some champions. I think Xavier gets it done here. Surprisingly, gets it done.
You and I are in much more agreement than usual.
Really?
I'm going Xavier
Hey,
too.
all
Come
right.
on now.
So
All right.
they're 4-2 against the teams left in the Sweet 16. They're
wow.
tied with Alabama with the most wins against remaining teams.
That's pretty
So
good,
they're under the radar.
for sure.
All comes down to this.
I'm going Xavier too. I can't stand the
Oh,
Longhorns.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
my
Anything
goodness.
anti-Texas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
They're the inferior UT.
Yeah, we figured that was
Facts.
coming.
Well,
Yeah.
we're going. That's not going to be a good pick for our bracket, guys. Just want to say
Uh-uh.
that
We'll
right
see,
now.
we'll see.
But Xavier
We'll see.
moves
Thank you.
on.
Thank you.
All right, 2 more in the Sweet 16. Arkansas, UConn. Harper, start us off.
I'm going the Hogs here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
boy.
I am partial to the SEC, but
What?
No,
I thought David
I
said
thought
that.
David.
No, I was
He's
not.
usually the one.
Yeah,
He's
no.
usually the one calling me out.
No, that was not me.
So we got two very different teams here. UConn likes to play slow. Arkansas likes to play fast. So I think if Arkansas can find a way to speed up the game, the Hogs take this.
Okay. Yeah, this is another tough one for me. Arkansas, I think, is a team that's kind of just finding their stride. You never know. But I have UConn in my Final Four, so I'm riding with UConn here.
Go.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm also going with Arkansas.
Okay.
Nice.
Go.
Yep. I feel like this. I don't know. I think the game's gonna be kind of underwhelming. I don't know. Just kind of seems like not a great matchup. But going with Arkansas. Have a good feeling.
You think
about
a blowout or like close game?
Probably a blowout. It's just
Yeah?
not gonna be very exciting. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
Sorry,
just a
UConn.
gut feeling, huh?
Yeah.
I don't need it to be
know.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Hey, just like Michigan State, I have Arkansas in my
Yeah.
Elite Eight. A little bit of a stretch, but they got one more to do it. Let's do
I
it.
like the
Can't
Hogs.
can't blame you guys for that. Not
Final one. This could be potentially a game of the Sweet 16, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, UCLA. David and I were actually at the GCU Gonzaga game in Denver. One of the coolest experiences ever
Oh,
at
yeah.
a sporting event.
Amazing.
Gonzaga took down our Grand Canyon University Antelopes in a tough one. It was a closer than I think a lot of people thought, though. So,
For the first half.
anyways,
Yeah.
Gonzaga not only wins that one, but won in the round of 32 over TCU in a close game as well. Taking on UCLA. You want to start on this one?
Yeah, I got the Bruins.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Don't really know why. I'm just kind of feeling it. Pac-12. I don't know. Could be their year.
Okay.
Okay. I like it. I'll go next. I got the Zags here. I think UCLA is a little beat up. I forgot who's beat up right now, but I think they got one or two starters. They're dealing with some injuries. And it's Drew Timmy's last year, so I think that helps.
Still Timmy time then.
It's still
Yeah.
time.
All right.
This is an interesting one. I am going to be pulling for Gonzaga because I want to make GCU look better. I mean, just straight up. I want Gonzaga to go win the thing, if they're going to beat us. But I think UCLA wins here because Gonzaga's defense just has its moments where it's just not much of a defense at all. So I think that's going to be their demise, and I think UCLA wins here.
Okay.
Man, my Final Four teams are dropping like flies right now. I had Gonzaga in my Final Four, and I am picking them here, but
She's the
looks
tiebreaker.
like UCLA is going to take it in the tiebreaker.
Yep.
So let's flip quickly into the Elite Eight as we're getting down to crunch time now. It'll be UCLA versus Arkansas with a chance to go to the Final Four, according to our bracket. I picked Gonzaga, and I picked Arkansas, but I'm going to pick UCLA over Arkansas. That may not make any sense at all, but I do think if UCLA does pull it off versus Gonzaga, they're going to be feeling pretty good. And I don't think Arkansas's magic continues into the Final Four.
Also going with UCLA. Riding with John Wooden's legacy. It's going to happen.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go UCLA here, too. I do think this is going to be a really close game, though. If these two teams meet each other in the Elite Eight,
Yeah.
I think the Hogs are really well coached, and they can beat anyone on a good day.
Come on, guys. If we got Arkansas going this far, why not? Arkansas. It's my pick, even though I had them losing the round prior.
Well, it's 3-1. So
Yeah, I know. But, hey, it's on record.
Bruins to the Final Four. Next
You
round, apparently, I have to
Like
say it
doing
again.
that.
Xavier taking
Yeah.
on, I can't remember who won, Houston or Miami.
We got Houston
think
on the
Oh, yeah, you
tiebreaker.
picked Houston.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
All right,
right.
Xavier and Houston. I'll start off. I didn't pick either of these teams to win, but I will go with Houston here because I thought Xavier almost lost in round one. I actually picked them to lose in round one, and I don't think they're making it to the Final Four. I'd be willing to sprinkle a little money on that. In fact,
Houston, there's still no problem. I'm going Houston once again.
I'm going to walk with Xavier. Why not? I mean,
all right.
let's walk with Xavier.
Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
She gave me
Yeah.
that look. I didn't know what she was gonna
Yeah.
do. All right. Let's do this really quick. Let's go Houston versus UCLA to the national championship, and then we'll get the top
That's
part
fair.
of the
All right,
bracket.
so we'll go to the other side.
Houston for me. I'm riding with them all the way, baby. All the way.
I think UCLA. I
Nice.
think they have a lot of depth on the team, and hopefully they can get those injuries sorted out. I'm going UCLA.
I'm also going UCLA. I feel like they're due
Ooh.
for one.
There you go. What would be your...
I would have picked UCLA as well.
Okay.
I'm
cool.
not really a believer in Houston,
Yeah.
as I've shown, but
They've looked flat the first two rounds. They really have.
That's true. It's true, but if you get that far, I feel like there's a reason
It
for it.
will be
you know?
in Houston, by the way. The Final
See,
Four is in
that-
Houston.
Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
yeah.
So a lot of people would pick Houston, but then UCLA is going to beat them when we least expect it.
That's
So
March
that's
Could
nice.
happen. It's March. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So UCLA is sitting in the national championship. We have 3 games to go to see who their opponent will be.
Mm-hmm.
The next game will be between Michigan State and Tennessee.
I really hope this happens. I really, really hope this
Yeah,
happens.
our group is gonna enjoy this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our Super Bowl guys. He's not in here today, but he's a massive Michigan State fan, and then obviously a massive Tennessee fan. And really, both teams having like not amazing years, but good enough to get to the tournament, and they're
We're here
both
now.
here.
Yeah.
Crazy how that happens.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you might as well.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. Going the Vols.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is a tough game for me. Really tough game. I think both teams are more than capable of winning it. I just look off. I'm going Michigan State just because of the coaching. Like Rick Barnes just hasn't got there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's no shot against him. It just hasn't happened yet. And I think I was already somewhat surprised Tennessee got to this point. And I think, winning the next game is very realistic, but going to be tough to keep stringing them together against a really good Michigan State team. I got State.
Yeah. When it comes to March, Izzo
Yeah.
has the upper hand against
Oh, yeah.
Barnes for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I'm also gonna go Michigan State. Ever since they knocked off,
Oh, man.
they knock off in the last round, Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette.
I'm like, I just like their path here. I think it's
Shaping
not-
up.
If they can beat Kansas State, we've talked about it before off air. Tom Izzo very good in that second game of the weekend. So maybe if they can get that first one, he's very good at turning it around and winning 2 days later. So I think if they beat Kansas State, they're also going to beat Tennessee.
Before you pick,
Oh boy.
I won't be mad. I'll just be disappointed.
Well, you're gonna be a little disappointed.
Let's go.
I am also going Michigan State. I just feel like they have
Oh,
momentum. Like you said, it's March. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, Michigan
March.
State it is.
Our
This is
track
March.
record isn't
This
great
is
last few
March.
years.
Yeah.
All right. Final Elite Eight game. Are you wearing that hat, by the way, for the Elite Eight?
That's the only reason I'm wearing this hat. No,
Okay.
shout out to Kyle Busch, who's now driving the 8 car. I'm a big NASCAR guy. If
No,
nobody
no,
knows,
no.
yeah,
We
we're
don't
gonna
need to get
interrupt this segment. Yeah, NASCAR, way to go, way to go.
I'm pretty sure
Back
it's
it.
just an Elite Eight hat. So.
No,
All right.
it is not.
Yeah, I heard about that drop.
Yeah, the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wow.
Alabama and Creighton to play Michigan State in the Final Four.
Easy pick for me, Creighton.
Whoa.
Easy.
Where are they
pick.
from again?
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Nebraska, right? All right.
Yeah.
I know where Alabama's from.
Easy pick.
Alabama. Yeah, easy pick, Creighton. I just think Alabama is not going to get all the way. And that's why I had Alabama losing, I think, the last matchup. So I'm going to take Creighton again here. So let's continue to ride.
I very much dislike Alabama in most sports because I'm a Tennessee fan, but they're the better team here. They need to win this game if they meet an Elite Eight.
Okay.
Oh man, I think it's gonna be Creighton. I don't think that because we picked Houston, right? Did we pick Houston? I don't
Yeah.
think that there's gonna be another #1 team. So if it's Houston,
Yep.
Alabama's out. I think Creighton's
Yep.
in.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Creighton beat Baylor.
Yes.
Creighton beat
Yep.
yeah.
They did.
They beat Baylor.
I had Baylor going all the way. So
Yeah.
yeah. Creighton it is.
Creighton legit.
They're sneaky. They're sneaky.
No one knows where they're from, but they're legit.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're sneaky, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Nobody sees them coming 'cause
No.
they don't know where they're from. All right.
Oh my god.
I'm going to go with Alabama, and it doesn't matter because
Doesn't matter.
tiebreaker over here. She just keeps ruining our bracket.
Yes.
No, that's perfect.
I'm just kidding. All right. Creighton very, very well could be in the Final Four
Yeah.
come the end of the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So it'll be Creighton versus Michigan State with the chance to play UCLA.
Sparty. I'm going Michigan State. Are we
This is a
really gonna let
crazy
Michigan
bracket.
State go this
This is
far?
actually a crazy
And, like,
bracket. now that I
Creighton?
think
Yeah,
about
now that I'm hearing it all
Yeah.
out loud together, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not sure how we got these
This
two
would be
options,
madness. Yeah.
but Michigan State's going to the championship,
Yeah, we
for
got-
my point of view
Yeah,
here
same
today. Yeah. So.
Same. Also Michigan State.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Creighton, but Creighton versus UCLA just doesn't sound like a good championship. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
This is
Sorry.
So,
I'm
we'll
not
have-
even going to say. I don't even have to. So
Okay.
You would go MSU though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So that leaves us with our national championship.
Oh my god.
Michigan State versus UCLA, just as everybody predicted.
Exactly.
Right. First try.
David, do you want to start this one off as well?
Yeah. Well, this is a very fun matchup because wasn't this in the first four a few years ago? The
Oh.
crazy run for UCLA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Michigan State gets their revenge. Sparty's getting a championship. Boom.
Oh my.
Mic drop. If I had this mic and could drop it, I would. There it is.
You would think Hanson's in here by the picks we have right now.
Yeah. Who you got?
Yeah.
I'm going UCLA. I think for our bracket here, there's a better chance UCLA makes the championship than MSU. And so
All
just for the sakes of our bracket, I don't want it to be in shambles.
I'll go next because she will decide this
Oh,
Yeah.
either way. I'm also going to go with UCLA. If they're going to beat Gonzaga and they have this easy road that apparently we're giving them,
Yeah, exactly.
I think UCLA might as well go ahead and do this. They've got a lot of seniors on their team, led by Tyga, or
Yeah.
Tiger Campbell, of course.
Yep.
They got a good squad. And I know they've had a couple injuries, but I think that's just going to build some resiliency. And apparently the Bruins are going to win the national championship.
Apparently.
agreed.
Ah,
Okay.
all right.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yeah, you
Brady.
were-
I tried.
You were UCLA for like 3 rounds.
I was.
So yeah.
I don't know why. Just became a really loyal Bruin. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
well, We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not expect UCLA to be our champion after.
I do think
Me
that's
neither.
somewhat of a
I like
logical.
it though, right?
Yeah, like I mean, Michigan State, that's kind of a fairy tale, but with any, if you're choosing a coach to have on your team to lead that, Tom Izzo's your guy. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the bracket that we put together here.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll get a post up. Let us know how bad this was, if you can, if you want to, or just tell us how great we did. I don't really think you will though.
Yeah.
It's going to be
All
some
right.
mixed reviews.
So that was fun. Took a little bit, but went through our entire March Madness for the next couple of weeks. Enjoy it while you can because it's only March once a year. All right.
true.
Let's get into our faith segment. We just want to get to know Krista Rowan, beach volleyball player, GCU. Beach volleyball can be overlooked a lot. I think you know that firsthand. But one of the top programs in the country is right here on campus at GCU, and people have the opportunity to go watch right on campus at some awesome beach volleyball courts, sand courts. But before we get into that sports side, if you just want to kind of tell us how you got to the point you are right now. I know you grew up in Chandler.
Yes.
You're homegrown here in Arizona, and you ended up at GCU, which is probably awesome. But just walk us through that, and we'll get into a really cool discussion.
Sounds good. Yeah, so this is my 3rd year at GCU. I honestly didn't expect that I would ever end up at GCU. Through high school, I always wanted to play indoor volleyball, so I thought that was probably the path for me. I was looking at D2 schools, but they're in the middle of nowhere, and just wasn't really thinking that was going to be the college experience for me. I had a coach who convinced me basically that I'd be good at beach volleyball, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's kind of fun. Sure, let's go for it. Like I said before, they just started beach volleyball when I was a freshman in high school in Arizona, and I was like, well, I play volleyball, I might as well try it. So I started doing it then. Talked to a couple coaches for indoor, and thought again that was the path I was gonna go. And then decided that wasn't for me. I was either gonna play Division I beach volleyball at a bigger school where I thought I'd enjoy the experience a little bit more, or I would just go to school wherever I wanted and not play sports at all. And then it was a really quick turnaround, a really quick blessing that it worked out well for me. I decided to quit playing indoor volleyball my junior year of high school, and then committed fully to beach, and was like, well, I'll have fun at least while it lasts. And then the November, December of my junior year was when I actually came to a camp here. Still hadn't really, if I was going to go to college in Arizona, I didn't think it'd be GCU. I don't know why, why I overlooked it, but it was ASU and U of A were the state schools to me. And then I came to a camp here because my coach was like, they would really like to see you here. It'd be a good idea. I was like, okay, why not? What else am I doing? So I came to camp here. It was a really good decision. A week later, they had me out here for a visit and toured campus and sat down with my family and we spoke, and I committed on the spot. And now I play beach volleyball here. So
On the spot, huh?
yeah, I don't know. It just felt like home. I really like the community here. I feel like that's a really common thing when people are like, what do you like about GCU or why GCU? And community is always the answer, but that's really what I found here. And it's a big school, but it really doesn't feel like that. And so I just knew that the community that they were creating with the coaching staff, the girls who are on the team now and at the time, and just everything that the campus has to offer. I just knew that this was going to be a good spot for me, and couldn't be happier with the decision I made to be here.
Awesome. I didn't realize, I know we talked a little bit yesterday, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you stopped completely playing indoor volleyball and
Yeah.
focused on beach volleyball. Are those at the same time of the year? Or is that why? Or is it just like I need to hone in on this?
Yeah, it was more one. I felt like I needed to focus on one more than the other, and like financially, I wasn't gonna be able to keep playing both. So like I played in high school indoor volleyball all 4 years. So, like I played freshman to senior year just because it was fun. Why not? But I started playing beach club junior and senior year because my family wasn't gonna be able to pay for me doing like travel indoor volleyball and then try to fit in beach tournaments because beach is like just like by nature is a lot more like relaxed in general, even in the club environment than indoor volleyball is. So it was just like gonna be hard to fit tournaments in there and like have to split time, and like my coaches would obviously want me to be like completely invested in one over the other, and that wasn't gonna be fair for me to be in and out. So I was like, well, here we go. Gonna decide one way or the other and see how it works out for me, and here I am.
Did you have a specific partner in high school, like that junior and senior year you committed to the sand volleyball, and if so, where are they now?
Kinda. My junior year, I played with a girl who was a year older than me, who was one of my indoor volleyball teammates. And she didn't go, like she just goes to ASU now. And then my senior year, we played one match because COVID shut down high school beach volleyball. So I played with one girl who's one of my best friends now. She plays at a D2 school in Florida. It's called Palm Beach Atlantic.
Cool.
So she goes to school there. We're the first two people. Well, I guess, I don't know. I was the first person. I went to a small high school, and I was the first person from my high school to go play Division I sport, which was kind of cool. And then her and I signed together, and she plays at Palm Beach now, and she loves it there. So she played at the same club as me, so it was kind of cool for us to go to school together. And then also, we kind of made that transition to beach at the same time, so it was nice going through it with someone instead of just like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really cool, like, I mean, just how God works in your life already, right? Like with everything that took place to get you here. And man, like, I mean, looking back at it now, it's like the obvious. Like man, I mean, you guys are 6th in the country, is that right? That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and just how that all worked out. Obviously, like we know that being an athlete, there's a lot that goes on, right? And especially, you know, being a Christian student athlete, like how do you balance that life, and how do you get, you know, obviously put God first in that setting?
Yeah. So for me, I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday. This is like at the beginning of the fall semester, this is when I took like my biggest leaps of faith, I guess you'd say, where I really started like getting into like my faith more, learning more about God, learning more about Christianity, like what I feel like my purpose here is. And so like I don't really have like that role model person where I'm like, oh, like my family is really religious, or we come from a religious background, or like my team is already really religious, or in a way like that, where it's just easy to like kind of go with the flow because other people are doing it, like conformity almost. So for me, it was really just like taking like a step into blindness almost, because I really didn't know much about it at all, what it meant for me and like how that journey was going to go for me. But yeah, found a home at North Phoenix, love going there. And so like I love like Pastor Noah. I just feel like when I started going there at the beginning of the semester, like it just felt like every time I walk in there, like whatever the message is like meant for me, which I thought was really cool. Like I just felt like it's a big church, but I felt like I was being like spoken to, and that things were like personalized for me, and I just felt like I was exactly where I needed to be, which was a really nice feeling, and something so new, like to feel comfortable and like so welcomed immediately is just something really rare in life in general, and then especially in an environment with like religion can be like touchy for some people sometimes, or it can be scary, and it's just like a big new step. So I think immediately feeling that like sense of comfort and just like warmth really from the church also made it a lot easier for me to be like, yeah, like I know I'm going in the right direction. I know that God has like placed me here for a reason. So I think that was like one of the big steps that I took at the beginning of the year. And then I think just finding ways like to incorporate your faith like with sports, which I think that's why it's so awesome what you guys are doing here, because so much of it like goes hand in hand already. And so like I think like some of my teammates and I have started doing like Bible studies and devotionals on the road, which I think is just like it's a quick 20 minutes maybe before breakfast. We have plenty of time for that. So I think it's been cool connecting with my teammates and people from other sports also in that sense, and just like being able to use our sport as something in common, and then our like love for God, two things in common, super easy to talk about.
Yeah.
So just bringing that together and finding ways to incorporate it when you're already like doing your thing, you're already like traveling for volleyball. Like I found myself, I don't even remember how it happened, but we were flying to UCLA, and for some reason, like we're taking off, and I was about to put my phone in airplane mode, and I don't know like what made me look it up, but I was just like scrolling through my phone, like reading Psalm 16, like on Bible Gateway before we took off. I was like, oh, this is good. I'm gonna talk to this person about it tomorrow when we do our thing in the morning. I was like, oh, I already know what I'm gonna share, and I was like, I don't even know how I even got onto BibleGateway.com. Like I don't know what I was thinking about on the plane, but I was like, oh man, this is what I'm doing. Like right before we take off, like this is cool. And so it's like, there's just like little moments like that where it's like, I mean, you could scroll through TikTok or you could find yourself in Psalm 16. I don't know. Like,
And one of the two, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just
No
like,
between.
no, not at all. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like there's little moments that can just be used to like learn more, especially for myself, like not knowing that much about it and just trying to figure out like what the right way is, even though there's not like what I've come to find out and come to learn is that there's not a right way to do it. Like it's different for every person. But I think just like, I don't know, just like little things come up where I'm like, oh, I can do this, or I can talk to you about it, or I can listen to worship music in the car. Just like little stuff like that where I'm just noticing it in different elements of my life, where like when I started like my journey per se, like in the fall semester, it was really just, I was going to church and wasn't really sure how to like be in my faith and like be bold in my faith outside of that. That's something that I had a lot of trouble with, and trying to figure out like how to like express that and like be that part of me when I wasn't in an environment where it was like really easy. So yeah.
And I think you bring up a great point, like about you don't have to have all the answers going into a relationship with Christ. Like that's not what it's about. In fact, like you're supposed to come as you are, you know, and He does the work inside of us. So I think that's really cool, and like something I didn't really know. I thought I had to clean my life up before coming to Christ, and it's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. So yeah, for sure.
And I would say you bring up an interesting point, and I know you went to church a little bit when you were younger, and you did the Sunday school, and you know the stories, but there was never that feeling inside where you're like, okay, I feel God.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people in this world, and I do think it's very normal for college students to find Christ, and just because if they find that community, it gives them the opportunity, and they have a more mature soul maybe, and it's just a soul that's willing to open up more. And when we're kids, it can be tough, and I know there's a lot of kids that are completely in love with God, and like they have Him inside of them. But I think that's very cool that and relatable story that God is presented Himself at this time in your life, and it's a big point for you, because you're a captain on this volleyball team, and you are a leader, and you have multiple leadership positions on campus. So how is that? How does that work for you now that God is the biggest part of your life?
Yeah.
When He may have not been before. And you have these leadership positions, and there's people that listen to you, and there's people that are affected by you and impacted by you. How do you now easily kind of ease in the conversation of Christ when it's not as easy to do?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, that I'm realizing more now that I am like that God is such a big part of my life now. I'm realizing like that He's put me into these leadership positions for a reason, and that like people like listen to the words that I say and care about the things that I say for a reason. And that I can use like that, I don't know if platform is the right word for it, but like position, I guess, to like deliver like what God wants these people to hear too. Because I'm in a position where like not everyone around me like believes what I believe, and not everyone around me like goes to church, believes in God, like prays, stuff like that. Like I think that's super rare to find these days. And so I think that it's like reaching those people who might not hear everything you say if you just read them a verse, if you just read them scripture. I think that it's incorporating like the ideas and like the values of it like to those people that are going to hit more people, and then like that'll invite them in more. Just like I know I told you guys about one of my friends who like she's very spiritual, but like isn't Christian, like doesn't really know God, isn't so sure about him, but like has been really open to hearing about him because like she's heard me talk about him. And I've like shared with her like my experience like over the past like semester and a half basically, and how I've felt him like move in my life and how I can feel him with me. So it's like I think hearing those experiences as someone who isn't like a believer, because I know that was a big thing for me when I wasn't like, when I was really confused, when I really didn't like, I didn't know enough. That was a big thing for me, was just listening and being open-minded to it. So I think just like sharing those ideas is just so important and really resonates with people more. Like people like have like favorite quotes and stuff like that. Well, it's just like, I mean, that's like what the Bible is. Like, like love each other as like God loves you. Like just all that stuff is like, it all translates really well into sports. It's like being a good teammate, being a good person, like love what is good, hate what is evil, like extend your hand. Like all of that is just like what we want to do as good people, basically, like as God's people. And so I think just like using those kinds of messages has like really helped me as a leader, and just like taking a look in the mirror at myself also, and making sure that like I'm like portraying myself as the way that I want like other people to act and to follow as well, because I feel like that's a big part of leadership. And that's why like I don't know, I've been reading a lot, like when I read the Bible, like I've been reading a lot about like humility, and like we've talked about a lot in FCA about just like how can we have like these big egos when like God has humbled himself so much to be a human, like to be like down on earth with us, like slaving away, like that's crazy. He didn't need to do that for us, and he does. Not just be a human,
but be treated less than a human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's been like the biggest thing that has like really spoken to me like over the past few months, is just like in sports it's so easy to like idolize someone or be like, oh, I'm the big man on campus. I'm so great because I have the best stats, or because I'm the captain, or because because everyone knows me and stuff like that. But it's just like, imagine if like imagine like that, but like you gear the spotlight towards God instead. Like imagine like people know you because you know him. Like I just feel like that's just so much more powerful, because it's not.
It is.
It's never about you. Like it's not, and that, I don't know. That's just like the beauty of sports. Is like, I know people say a lot like, oh, you're not playing for like your last name on the back. You're playing for like the school on the front or whatever. But it's like, it's not even the school on the front. Like it's God. Like he's the one who's put you here anyways. And I don't know. I just think that we're in a really cool position, and like athletes have like the privilege of getting a platform almost, or getting a lot of eyes on them. And I think it's like what you choose to do with all those eyes on you that really speaks volumes. If you use that for your own like personal gain, personal wealth, it's all going to come back to you. Or if you use that to like capitalize something better, like God and his word.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like that, you know, when you get a platform, man, it can be easy to turn to the platform instead of the one who gave it to you, right?
Exactly.
Like, man, it can be, you know, that's where the danger comes in. It's like the worldly side of it, of the blessing, right? And the blessing is great. And yeah, like when you think bigger than just you, man, it goes way deeper, and God just moves in mighty ways. So
I thought it was so cool. I know I told you guys I got the pleasure of meeting Tim Tebow this summer, but it was we sat in front of him. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's Tim Tebow. Like, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. And it's just like a room full of college athletes looking at like such a fantastic, like renowned athlete. And he's standing up there and he's talking about God. And it was an NIL conference. Like, he doesn't know if anyone in the room is religious at all. He doesn't know if they believe in God, if they hate God, that he has no idea. And he's standing up on the stage. He's not talking about, man, I wish that I got NIL deals when I was in college. Not a word of that. Not a word of that. He's standing up there talking about God, and he's telling the John 3:16 story. Like, he's talking to us about his faith, and I just thought that was so cool. And I don't know. It's just like he's using his platform even now, like even out of it all, for that, which I just think is really powerful. And sometimes I just wonder like what it would be like if more people took the light off of them when they gain that popularity like that and gear it back towards God.
It would be such a difference in this world. It's a broken world, and you know, we've probably talked about it before, but you look at, you know, today's society, and you look at the upper class or the celebrities or the athletes, like there's a lot of brokenness, and it's because they turn away from God when God put them there, as you said. And the athletes that do put God on the pedestal, they're the ones making a massive impact, because it's so easy to make the impact because of the eyes that are on them.
Sure.
As a newer believer, want you to kind of articulate that feeling that you were describing of this is like I feel God moving in me and like I'm doing things differently than I used to and like it feels good. Like I want you to articulate that in the best way possible for people that are just on the edge or just like so close to like just giving their life to Christ. Like what can you do to urge them to make that decision?
Yeah. I would say like, oh, that's a good question because like I was going to talk about this earlier actually and it's just like it's the answer now.
Yeah.
One of like my favorite, I don't remember if it was at church or if it was just a friend of mine when we were talking like early again last fall. I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't remember. I'll probably think of it.
No
but
worries.
I was talking to them about it and they were like, what I've realized, because we were kind of in a similar boat about like coming back to Christ or like learning more about it and everything like that. And they said like that no matter what, like you might feel like if you and God are like sitting in a chair next to each other, that like you might feel like he's really far away from you or you might turn away, but like he's always sitting in the chair looking at you, just like waiting for you to come back to him. So like the distance that you feel is made by you. It's made by us. Like it's made by me. And so that's like me feeling like he's so far away when really he's sitting there. He's looking at me in his chair just like I'm here for you. Like arms open, arms extended, like whenever you're ready, like I'm here. And I think that's one of the biggest things is that like God loves us all the same. He doesn't love you more because you, I don't know, like go to church every single week and you're really consistent with your devotionals and all that stuff. It's like he loves us all and he's ready for us all, like no matter what stage we are, because really like the work is never done. You're never like a good enough Christian or you're never close enough to God. And so I feel like that was the biggest thing for me is just like who is like anyone else to say really like how close my relationship is with God. Like, are you closer to him than I am? Like, who's to say? Who knows? Only God knows. Yeah. And guess what? He loves us both anyways. And so I think that was just like one of the best things that I needed to hear when I was like, again, on the fence was that like, he's sitting there and he's ready. Like he's not wavering in his relationship with me. Like I'm the one who's like, ooh, up and down on the bubble a little bit. And so I think that was just kind of the push where I'm like, he's there. Like, he wants me, he loves me, and he wants to have a relationship with me. Like, it's on me to like take that jump of faith and like be there with him because he's there. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off what you just said. Yeah, for those of you watching who are on the fence, I think a big part of it is just surrendering control and knowing that God's ways are better than your own and that he can do far more with your life than you could ever do on your own. And it's hard to give up that control at first. I know we've talked about in our Bible studies all the time because before we come to God, we're our own God. You know, we dictate what truth is. We dictate what our path is, right? But a big part of our faith is just surrendering control and knowing that he's God and that you're not God, right? And that's hard.
Yeah, sure is. I would say the next question I want to ask you is, we talked a little bit about future and just like the uncertainty of it. And I feel like we could have a really good conversation about that. Just how, maybe before God, we're thinking, all right, what am I going to do in my career? How much money am I going to make? And how many people are going to know my name by the end of it?
Yeah.
But when God is a big part of your life and something like, for me, like, I probably had those feelings at one point, but like now, like God's got to be a part of it somewhere. Like my career has to involve him in some way, and he has to be a part of it. So how are you kind of approaching that with the next steps? I mean, we only have about 2 to 3 years left of college.
Yeah, that's something that I've been thinking a lot about recently, just because I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do after this. I don't know if I'm gonna continue playing volleyball. I don't know if I'm gonna like get a master's somewhere. I don't know if I'm gonna go straight into the workforce. I honestly have no idea, and I got like 2 semesters left, and that can be scary to me sometimes. But I used to, so like again, being like a new believer, like this used to be something where like when people be like, God has a plan, whatever, I'm just like, but like you still have to be stressed out. Like even if God has a plan, you still have to be stressed about it. But like now I don't know, I just have like a lot more like peace with it because I'm like, God does have a plan. Like I've seen him work in other people. I've seen him work in me. Like I know that whatever it is, like I'm going to be okay. Like that whatever I think that I'm going to be doing in 2 years, there was a good chance I couldn't. I don't know. Like I'm just like, it's all in God's control. Like he's going to do what he already has planned for me. Like it's already written. Like there might be a couple little bumps along the way, but like ultimately it's up to him, and I just like have faith that he's gonna put me exactly where I'm supposed to be. And if it doesn't feel like that way, or if it doesn't feel like that right away, I know that eventually I'll get back on that path. So like I do feel like a lot more peace with that now, because before I'd hear people say, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, yes, God has a plan, but you still have to be worried about it. Where now I just like, I don't know, I just feel a lot more like content with it, which is nice, because I'm not like freaking out about something that I can't control. So feeling good about that. As far as like my faith goes, like I'd said like before, I'm not gonna, like in a couple years, I'm not gonna be 10 minutes away from church. I'm not gonna have FCA to go to on Wednesdays. Like I'm not gonna have my teammates to like confide in and like talk about God with all the time. Like it's gonna be a lot different. But I don't think, like, I'm coming to realize that it's not necessarily like a bad thing. Like I think that change is good, and I think that it's gonna help me like learn more and take more steps of faith, like as I did last semester. So I'm looking forward to that. And that aspect is that like there's just so much left to learn, and so much that I don't know about myself and about like my relationship with God. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what it looks like as I do get older. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answers it, but
yeah. I mean, going back to kind of that leap of faith, like those moments on the front side, man, it's like pitch black. I don't know what's gonna happen, and it's scary, right? For us, I mean, for me personally, and I think you guys maybe can relate with the podcast, right? I mean, 2 years ago, nobody would have told me, that, and I would have never believed I'd be sitting here right now, and it's not because I'm qualified to. It's because God has just led me here, and I am just being present in the moment.
Yeah.
And like, there's something so special with that, because it's not about you. It's about Him, and it's about His plan for you. And when you have that realization, it just makes everything so much more peaceful, the way you put it. And it's incredible what He can do when you surrender everything that you are to Him, because He's the one who created you. He knows your purpose, and He will make the most of who you are today and right now.
I like how you said that, because like I never would have told you that I'd be sitting in a little recording room talking about my faith like so openly. Like a year ago, never would have thought that. And so I think that's just, I don't know, it's really cool that like I'm here now, that you guys like saw that in me to like ask me and invite me to be here. Like I just think that's really cool. And so I don't know, it's just so unpredictable. Like who knows what I'll be doing a year from now, because I never thought I'd be doing this a year ago.
You're crushing it too.
Thank you.
God moves.
Yeah.
He's moving. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we've been talking about in the Bible study recently is progress over perfection. And we're not called to be perfect children of God. We're called to die to ourselves each and every day, pick up our cross, and just be faithful, be obedient. Noe's been talking about partial and full obedience lately. So if we're waking up with the attitude of pleasing God every day, then He's just going to take care of the rest. We just got to trust in Him that He'll guide our steps.
Yeah.
And I think the peace that you brought up and the obedience that you brought up are just like the same, right? Like if you just obey His commands, He's going to put you in these positions that are amazing. Like for Him, the fact that we're doing this for Him is obedient and big time, and it's going to help the kingdom. We know we're impacting people, and that feels good. So like on the flip, like it's rewarding for us, and God's giving us those rewards. But also it's just when you are obedient, it shows that you have peace with whatever's going to happen. You have peace that and faith that God's got you. And that is one of the best things about having God in your life, I think. When we talk back about those people that are on the fence, like the stress that you have before God, I don't know it'll be there. It'll be there, but it's not there as much, and
it's not the same. Yeah,
it is nice. It's freedom, right? It's a freedom that you never had.
Yeah.
Right. So in closing here, I have one more question for you. What's some advice you would have for younger athletes watching this, some younger athletes pursuing God and their sport at the same time? You got anything on the top of your mind?
And maybe throw in the competitor's Bible that you brought.
Yes. I would say just in general, like whatever you're gonna do, like commit to it fully. Like it's so much easier to be like all into something rather than 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I feel like it gets a little complicated that way.
Yeah.
Like no matter what it is in your life, like I've been there and it's really hard and I still do it. But I'd say just like as much as you can, just like investing fully into whatever it is, people are going to respect you a lot more that way. You're going to respect yourself a lot more that way.
Yep.
And you'll find a lot more peace in yourself. Like if you can look yourself in the mirror and you go to bed every night and like just like have that peace that like you gave everything that you had that day, then I think that's like one of the biggest things that you can do, and just like having that peace within yourself. And if you're like, ooh, I don't know if you're feeling like that little guilty conscience or anything like that, then it's like, okay, well, like, what are you going to do tomorrow that's going to give yourself that peace at the end of the day?
Yeah.
So that's like one of my old high school coaches like talked to us about that all the time, like when we were playing volleyball. And she taught us like a lot about like being like good people rather than being good athletes. Like if you're a good person, like the athlete stuff will fall into place, hopefully. But but yeah, I'd just say like just be invested in it, just like, and with your faith, like go all in. Like what's the worst that could happen? I just like can't really think of like what could go wrong like doing it, because that's like it was really scary for me. Like I didn't know what I was doing. But I just did it, and I don't know, here I am. Like I started going to church, I started going to FCA. That's where the Competitor's Bible came from. They gave me this, and they're like, if anyone wants to take a Bible, I was like, we get a Bible for free?
That's
like
awesome.
No way. Like that was really cool to me. I had no idea. And so it's just like little stuff along the way is just like, just do it. Like literally just do it. I don't know. Like you're never going to know unless you try. And I think that that's something that's really hard. Like when you are younger is like you fear judgment. I think that's probably like the number one thing that holds people back from taking a jump is they don't want people to judge them. Yeah. But ultimately, if those people are judging you, then you probably don't want to be surrounded by them anyways. So I think just go for it. Go for it. And you're going to like, I met you guys. You guys are really cool. Like, I think you guys are great. And I was like, I never would have known. Like, I wouldn't have met you if I wasn't bold in my faith. If you didn't talk to me about it, like that never would have happened. And I'm really glad it did. So I think just like, just go for it. And you're going to end up with really cool people behind you, and ultimately like build your support system that way, and just get more peace within yourself.
Amen.
For sure.
I think that's about all we can do right there. I mean, that's awesome word that you brought today.
Yeah.
You can tell that God gave you the words to say today, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, great job.
Awesome job. For all you at home, I think just to wrap it up, like really full circle, like you talked about North Phoenix. We all go to North Phoenix Baptist here in Phoenix. And Pastor Noe, an awesome pastor that we love. Hopefully we'll have him on the show someday. But he's been talking about by faith, and I think this is a good challenge for you at home right now. If you're still watching, thank you. But find something that you know is out there that you can go all in on right now. Like, what is something that you can put all of your faith in? And sometimes, if I applied for a job, like, I was putting faith in God, but like I was trusting myself too. Like, what is something that I'm going to go 100% in, all on faith? And that's challenging, and it's going to be different for every single one of us. But let's let that be the challenge for all of you at home.
Yeah, and funny thing is, so I'm a finance major, right? And, it's never, like, a good idea with investments, right, to put all your eggs in one basket, right? That's the typical, like, rule one. But with, like, faith, man, it's just different, because we know there's a God who controls everything, has the palm of his hand, just the world in his hands, right? So what is there to lose? Because you are going to do his will ultimately, and he is going to be with you through it all. Like he doesn't leave nor forsake us. The Bible says it, and I've seen it in my life. I know you guys have seen it in your life. Man, it's scary. It is. But when you live with that purpose, there's just something about it that just you can't describe. It's just something that that, hey, I have peace. If my life ends, whenever it ends, I have peace. I know that I was all in for Christ, and that's all that matters. And you can leave that behind you, and then you can go into eternity with that mindset. And man, it's just the best. So I would just challenge you, like we were saying, like just go all in. Man, like what is it gonna hurt? Like there's a God who loves you, and who's gonna take your hand and help you.
Amen. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Episode 9. That's a wrap.
Love
See you guys
y'all.
next time.